Alright, what is up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm starting a new series, shooting your personal best record out there on the course. I'm going to break that down into 3 different levels. First we got breaking 100, and that's going to be the video we're talking about today. Breaking 90 will be the second, and finally breaking 80. Now first, before we start off anything, got to establish the ethos, okay? The credibility. Why can I talk to you about breaking these 3 different levels? Well, I had to go through all those 3 different levels when I started playing golf, okay? I started playing golf my freshman year of high school. My first ever practice, I went to the golf team practice. I came in with like 35 clubs in a bag. It was a mess. I knew nothing about golf. I had kids clubs, I had adult clubs. It was a mess, okay? My first 18-hole tournament score was a 126. It was not good to say the least. My last tournament score as a high schooler, my summer before my first year of college, I shot a 73. So going from a 126 to a 73, I had to go through all 3 of those different levels. First figuring out what it took to break 100, and then next what it took to break 90, and finally what it took to break 80. And I truly do believe there is a lot of skill involved in it. It does take skill, but there's a lot more course management and just how to think out there on a golf course and how to break those different levels more than it is skill. Now you do need to practice, you do need to build that skill level, but really just changing the way you think out on the golf course, changing the way you play a golf course is really going to help you more than you might think on breaking those 100, 90, and 80 levels. Now the first thing I want to talk about when breaking 100 is just realizing what it takes to break 100. And it really is a lot easier mathematically than you might think. Right now, statistically, the average golfer in America can't break 100. And I really don't believe that's skill level based, but just the fact of how they play a golf course. The first thing you need to know when you're trying to break 100 is that mathematically, it's very doable. You don't have to make pars, you don't have to make birdies. You can make bogeys, and you can make a lot of doubles too. The important thing is to think about is to get rid of the triples and the quads, okay? The really big numbers. If you are trying to break 100, you can make 9 double bogeys in a round and 9 bogeys in a round and shoot 99. 9 double bogeys, that puts you at 18 over. 9 bogeys, that puts you at 27 over. 27 over, 27 plus 72. For anybody who knows math out there, that's a 99. You can shoot a 99 without making a par the entire day, but making 9 bogeys and 9 double bogeys. Now that's very doable if you keep the big numbers off the board, and that's what I want to talk about. The main way to keep big numbers off the board is to keep your ball in play, to limit the amount of penalties you are taking per round. That means you're probably going to have to put the driver away. And for a lot of you, you just simply aren't willing to do that because of the one bomb you're going to hit every 18 holes.
You like to hit bombs.
I do. However, if you want to break 100, it is likely that at least for now, until you can get to the skill where you are consistently keeping the ball on this planet, you are going to have to put the driver away, and you're going to have to find a club that is going to get you into play every single time. If you are trying to break 100, it is so much better to hit a 4-iron 200 yards off the tee, but in the fairway, than hit a drive 270 yards out of bounds, where you are now hitting your 3rd shot off the tee. Then you're going to hit it again out of bounds and you're hitting your 5th shot off the tee. Instead of being 200 yards off the tee, hitting your 2nd shot. Now, that doesn't sound like the most fun, and I get it. Sometimes it's not fun hitting irons or hybrids off the tee. However, what is fun is beating your buddies when you pop out there and you shoot a 95 and they just shot a 120 and they just pop driver on every hole, hitting it out of bounds left and right, and you're just putting it down the fairway nice and easy, and you're shooting a 95 with ease. Now, once you develop the skills where you're able to keep driver in play, it's definitely a tool that you want to use, be able to hit driver, being able to get it out there. However, until you can get it statistically on the golf course every single time without getting penalties, you need to find a fairway finder or a golf course finder. You need to find the club that you feel good about, that you can practice on the driving range again, whether that's a 4-iron or a hybrid or even a 3-wood. If you can keep it on the golf course without getting penalties, that's going to be the easiest way to keep triples and quads off your scorecard. Now, the second way to keep big numbers off your scorecard is to think of every hole as one above the par that it is. The easiest way to think about that, since we can make 9 bogeys and 9 double bogeys around and break 100, there's no reason we need to consider a par 3, a par 3, a par 4, a par 4, a par 5, a par 5. The first time I realized this is when my golf game really changed forever. I just started considering every par 3 a par 4, every par 4 a par 5, and every par 5 a par 6. This allowed me not to get too much in my head about having to hit a green in 2 or on a par 3 green in 1 every time. It allowed me to really hit it in spots where I felt comfortable and I didn't have the pressure on me of having to make par. Knowing that you can make a 4 on a par 3 or a 5 on a par 4 and that's okay, allows you to ease up, hit it into spots that you're comfortable, not try to force into places that can get you into trouble, and really just put you in the best position to break 100. So what do I mean by that? If you have a 420 yard par 4 and you drive the ball 240 yards, okay, it's probably not likely that you're not gonna knock it on in 2, okay? So what do I mean by that? I want you instead of hitting driver into the right trees, then trying to hit a hero shot out, hitting a tree, bouncing back, you chunk it into the water, make a big mess, right? The blow up hole of the day that stops you from shooting 100. Take that 4-iron off the tee. You're not gonna be able to reach the green in 2, but what you are gonna do is you're gonna put another comfortable club in your hand, a pitching wedge. Okay, maybe you lay up to 80 yards, then you knock a sand wedge on the green, you 2-putt, you made an easy 5 without any stress involved, and you're on to the next hole. Okay, instead of trying to hit driver off the green to try to reach the green in 2 and an entire mess occurs. Adding that 1 stroke to the par of each hole is really just gonna help your mindset of playing a golf course and really just gonna make you feel more comfortable into making your bogeys and making your doubles and getting into the 90s. Now the third way to keep big numbers off your scorecard is to always make sure it only takes you 1 chip to get on the green. That's the biggest thing I see from amateurs these days is how bad their chipping is. It takes them 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 shots when they're just 10 yards from the green to get it onto the green. So first things first is you need to start practicing your chipping. I know a lot of people only go to the driving range and then they hop on the first tee and then it's bombs away. You have to take time out of your week to go to a practice area and just practice chipping. Now, it's not the most glorious thing in the world, but if you care about breaking 100, you have to learn the fundamentals of chipping. You have to be able to feel comfortable around the green that you can get a ball from anywhere 15 yards to the green, you can get it on the green in your first try. Now, besides technique, a lot of things I see go wrong with amateurs when they're chipping is they do not chip to the correct spots. Now, let me show you what I mean here. Let's say we got the green right here, pins right here, okay? Your ball is rested right here. You've short-sighted yourself, okay? You don't have a lot of room to chip. That's okay, mistakes happen. However, where the biggest mistake is compounded is amateurs try to chip it straight at the pin. If you're short-sighted and you don't have the skills to get it up and down 8 out of the 10 times, you should not be chipping at this pin. You should be chipping at the biggest part of the green, okay? So where's the biggest part of the green? Either right here or you're gonna go long. Okay, so you're gonna purposely either chip it long to this part of the green or you're gonna chip it over here to the wide part of the green. You're gonna chip it in places where you know you can get it onto the green 100% of the time, instead of what amateurs do, where they're gonna try to short side it, either hit a flop shot that they never practice, or gonna do something crazy. You're either gonna chunk it, have a second chip, then they're gonna skull it over the back end, then they're gonna run it past here, and before they know it, they're hitting their 4th shot on the green, where if they would've just hit a basic chip shot right here, or right here, and it take them 1 time, and then they 2-putt from there, they escaped a big number, they got away with their bogey or double bogey, and you're on to the next hole instead of sculling it, chunking it, whatever you're doing across the green, short, long, whatever, and you're making your quad, your quintuple, your sextuple, your whatever big number that's keeping you from breaking 100, instead of just taking your medicine, chipping to the big spot of the green. It's not sexy, but it doesn't have to be. Chip it to a big part of the green, stop trying to go for every pin, get your 2-putt, and get out of there. Now the last thing I'm gonna talk about on how to keep big numbers off your scorecard is to stop trying to make putts outside of 10 feet. Now that might sound crazy, you're like, why would I stop trying to make putts? Chances are, if you can't break 100, you're probably statistically not making a lot of 15-footers.
That's your home! Are you too good for your home?
But you're trying to make a lot of 15-footers, which means all you're focused on is the line, okay? Which means you're either blowing the ball 5 feet past or leaving it 5 feet short. What that means is you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up with a lot of 3-putt, 4-putt, 5-putt chance opportunities instead of just lagging it up there to tap-in range and getting away with a bogey or a double bogey. So for an example, let's say you're on a par 4, you knock it on in 3 shots, you have 20 feet left for your regular par. Now, in your brain, you know a bogey is okay. However, a lot of us amateurs want to bag that 20-footer, raise the putter in the air, get the applause from your buddies, and walk on to the next hole. However, you guys try to make that 20-footer for par, you're gonna blow it 6 feet past, you're gonna leave that 6-footer short, and you're gonna tap in for double, and you're like, what the heck just happened? If you are outside of a 10 feet region, you should not be trying to make a putt. You're not going to make them, and you're gonna put yourself in a tougher position for your second putt to make it. So instead, if I see a 20-foot putt, I'm going to imagine a 3-foot circle around that hole, and I'm gonna aim for that 3-foot circle. So that my next putt is going to be a tap and bogey rather than try to make a 20-foot par putt, blow it 8 feet past, and now I have 8 feet down a hill breaking for my bogey. I'm gonna miss that putt 9 times out of 10, and then I'm gonna be so flustered I may miss the next 3-footer for double, and I'm walking away with the green with a triple, when if I would have just played conservatively, I would have walked away with a double, or excuse me, a bogey, and in a lot better position to break 100. Now, I know I threw a lot at you there, but I promise, breaking 100 is a lot easier than it seems. It really only matters about your mindset. How do you play a golf course? If you can play a golf course smart, a lot of us have the skills to be able to break 100. We just don't have the mental skills to break 100. Once you get past that mental block, it's gonna be, you're gonna wonder why you couldn't shoot in the 90s and in the 80s all these years. It really is very simple once you get your mind around the fact that you do not have to make pars, you do not have to make birdies. You can make bogeys and doubles. However, it's very, very important that you play a golf course smart in order to be able to do that, and in order to keep the triples and quads off the scorecard, because a couple triples in a row, a couple quads in a row, that will be enough to throw you off your game for the rest of the day. And you have to be able to keep the penalty numbers off the scorecard in order to break 100. You can make a lot of doubles, you can make a lot of bogeys. Okay, you do not have to play perfect golf to break 100, but it is very, very doable if you think smart and play strategically. Honestly, it's more important than the skill in order to break 100. Yes, to break 90, to break 80, to break 70, a lot more skills involved at those levels, but just simply to break 100 on a normal golf course, it really just takes some smarts. So I really hope this video helps some of you guys who are struggling to break 100. Again, next video we'll be talking about breaking 90. If you guys broke 100 with any help from this video, definitely let me know. I want to hear about it. If you like this video or if it helped you at all, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, go ahead and follow me on Instagram, and I will be back next time for my video on how to break 90. Have a good one, guys. Peace out.